Hello, fellow translators. Today, we're going to be talking about a good problem to have, and that is firing clients. So firing clients this is a problem. It's a good problem, but it's still a problem. And it's one that you'll likely come across. I know I've come across and I've muddled it up a couple times. And so that's why I wanted to create a system for myself for firing clients. And so I want to share this with you. And what does this mean? It basically means that you're working with a client that you don't like, that pays you very little, that demands too much of you, or that just isn't pleasant to work with for whatever reason it might be. And you've been able to get other clients and you don't want to work with this client anymore, and they keep asking you to do stuff, and every now and then you're like, well, I should do it because it means extra cash, but you really don't like doing it. And so at a certain point you need to decide that you're going to fire this client. So how do you go about it? I think most freelancers, I shouldn't say that. At the beginning, what I would do is I would just say, sorry, I'm not available for that job. Sorry, I'm not available for that next job. Sorry, I'm not available for this other job, hoping that they get the clue after a while that I'm not available for any of their jobs, and then leave it at that. However, as I've progressed and I get a more relationship with my clients, I feel really bad doing something like that. And I feel like I should be more straightforward with them when it comes to something like this. I do have sort of a system in place, and I wanted to share that with you. First of all, I don't fire them outright. What I try to do is I try to see what I don't like about them. Are they asking me to do too many rush jobs? I had one client who wanted me to do a lot of layout work for them every time that I did their financial statements, and basically the layout needed to be worked on, and I was like, I can do it, I'm not good at layout, how about I just do the rest and you guys do the layout? No, we need the layout. And it got to be a real pain because it took more time than the translation itself to do this layout. Figure out what bothers you about that client, what you don't like. Maybe they keep asking too many follow-up questions, maybe they keep bothering you at all times of the day, or whatever it might be. So you set up certain rules. And so the rule I set up is like, I can do layouts, but they cost X amount per page. And other things are like, if they're rush jobs, you can say, I require a minimum of 24 or 48 hours for every job. Or rush jobs, I will charge an extra $50 or percentage or whatever it might be. Come up with a set of rules like that. And they should be rules that can apply to everyone. Don't just tell the client, this is for you. Just say, okay, I wanted to let you know from here on out, this is how I'll be working, or starting next month, starting next year, whatever it might be. So what's the worst they can do? They can say, well, we're not going to work with you anymore. Boom. Then you fire them, and that's perfect. In fact, they left themselves, so you don't even have to worry about firing them. Otherwise, if they are able to do the job without asking you to do the layout or stuff like that, then yeah, keep them on. Because in theory, that means that you still have the client, but you don't have the headache anymore. And so it should be able to work out. Another thing that I like to do that I learned later on, and now I like to do, is whenever I'm ready to fire a client, I actually find a good substitute. Because if I do this and then the client says, I can't do that, I can't afford that, what am I going to do? I can say, look, I work with this other very good translator. Why don't you try working with her? I can give you your contact details. Obviously, I check with the translator first, and then put them in touch. And then that way, at least you found that substitute. Whether it works with that other translator or not, that'll be their issue from then on. But you did find a substitute for them, which I think is very professional. And it shows that you are a professional when you're working, rather than just disappearing or something along those lines. So I do think those two steps are quite important if you want to fire a client, end a client relationship, but in a professional manner. First of all, you have the guidelines and see if the client can abide by them. And if it really doesn't work out, try to find a substitute. And I do think this is how a more advanced translator, professional translator, should act and will act. That's it. Let me know what you think. How have you gone about firing clients in the past? Is this something that you've had to do? Because, like I mentioned, it's a good problem to have, but it is a problem. So I'm curious to see what you guys have had as solutions and what you guys have done in these situations. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye. Savedum.